Okay, so now that we have our drawer ready, we can upgrade our drawer and we can make a jump scare inside the drawer, because we've talked about gameplay mechanics, but we don't have any jump scares yet. And what is a horror game without any jump scares? So let's change that and let's create our first little jump scare. So I imagine that if we will open one drawer, it will just there will be like a spider monster inside this drawer, and it will just attack us, and this will be the entire jump scare. So what we can do is we can just duplicate this drawer, and we will name this BP drawer jump scare. Okay, and let's open it up. So here we have this event on interact, because this blueprint has a interface called PPI interaction. That's where we're calling this function, this event. So the only modification that we will do with this code is we will move the timeline a little bit further, because we need to make some space here. And let's just create custom events, and let's name this custom event jump scare, just like that, just like that. Okay, and we want to call this jump scare whenever we are opening the drawer, right? So let's just move this here. And before doing this play sound add location, we will add a sequence. So the first thing we will do is play the sound and open the drawer, but then we want to call the jump scare event that we've just created. Okay, so what should we do in this jump scare event? The first thing that we will need for later is our player input. So before doing anything here, we can just save this as a variable. So right click, promote the variable player reference, and we need to set it as well. So now we can access our player blueprint from here, and that will be useful in a second. So I want this jump scare to play only the first time that we are opening the drawer. So when we close the drawer and open it for the second time, this jump scare won't show up. So to do that, we can just use do once. So let's add a do once node, and here we can create another variable called is jump scare playing or something like that. And by default, it will be false, of course. But when we do the jump scare, we want to set this is jump scare playing as true, because we are playing jump scare. This variable will be useful in a second. So I talked about the monster spider thing, so let's import it to our game. So let's go back to main 3D models, and here in the game files, you will see this spider monster folder. So we can just move it here to this folder with our 3D models, and let's just click import. A new folder will show up called spider monster with all the textures and stuff that we will need. Here we have our source spider monster skeletal meshes, and here we have this spider skeletal mesh, and we also have this spider animation. If you open it up, you can see this little animation playing. This is, I believe, a corpse or something from Gears of War, but I'm not 100% sure. I found this model on Sketchfab and downloaded it. The only thing that is wrong with this model is that it is huge. If we will just go beyond our map and we will try to bring our guy to the world, you can see he is definitely too big. Definitely too big. So we will have to scale him down a lot. But let's go to BP drawer, because here we can go to event graph, to viewport, and here where we have our drawer mesh, we can also add a skeletal mesh with our spider monster. And you can see he is huge, so let's just scale him down. This is actually pretty good, but let's make him a little bit bigger. Something like that. Okay, so 0.002. I think it looks okay. Yeah, he looks pretty cool and scary. So let's just compile, save, and let's go back to event graph, because now when we interact with the drawer, we are playing the jump scare. What we can do is we can just grab this monster mesh and just play animation. And we can select this spider monster scream anim. Okay, let's plug this in. Make sure the looping is disabled. We don't want this animation to be looping. Here we can add a slight delay of 0.3 seconds. And here we will play sound. And we're adding this delay only because when I was testing, this sound was just playing too quickly. So we will just wait for the drawer to open slightly, and then we will play the sound and do all the other code. So as the sound, we can select spider monster scream, and this scream is a little bit too loud, so we can reduce its volume to 0.5. So here we will do another sequence. So on interact, when we are opening the drawer, we're calling this Jumpscare custom event, and only the first time we are doing this, we are setting the variable, playing animation on our little spider guy, playing sound, and then we will make the spider jump onto the camera. So this will look scary and it'll be a great jump scare. So in order to do that, we can just use another timeline. So let's create one, add timeline, and let's name this timeline TL underscore jump scare, just like that. If we open up this timeline, we can change its length to 2 seconds, create a float track called alpha, as always, and add 2 keyframes. This first time will be time 0 and value 0, and the second keyframe will be time 2. So this will be the end of our timeline, and the value will be 1. And now in this case, I don't want them to be auto. I want them to be linear because this jump scare will just look better because this spider will attack us immediately and it will just look better in this case. So let's just leave it as it is. And let's go back to event graph. On event graph, while playing this timeline jump scare, before setting its location and stuff like that, we can just make sure it is actually valid. So let's just grab spider monster. This is the spider's mesh. And let's search for is valid. Okay, so just that we make sure everything will work properly. And now from here, what we can do is we can just set world location. Plug this to is valid. Maybe create a reroute node to make things more organized. As for the location, we will do that in a second, but we will also change its rotation. So let's just grab this spider monster and set world rotation. Connect this here and create a reroute node. Just like that. As for the location right here, we will use lerp vector, and we will plug in the alpha. So as for the starting location, we will just grab the mesh and we will get world location. As simple as that. And as for the B, so the target location, we will actually use this player reference because we can now get a camera reference, get camera, and from camera we can get world location, and we can also just add a slight value to this, like 4, just so the monster doesn't clip through our camera. And let's connect this to B. So when the timeline is playing, we will move our spider from its original location to location of our camera. So it will look that he is attacking our character. Let's just bring this a little bit here. And as for the rotation, what we will do is, first of all, let's split this because we can use something called find look at rotation. This node is really useful for creating stuff like that. Let's search for find look at rotation. So this node will rotate the character or whatever you plug in exactly so that is looking from start to target. So as for the start position, we also want to just get the world location and we want to look at our camera. As simple as that. So we can just split this value and we will connect the X to the X. But as for the Z value, we will subtract 80 because he is rotated a little bit in a weird way. So we need to subtract 80 to make it look better. Okay, so here after he is attacking us, after he is jumping and rotating in our direction, here in the sequence, we can just make sure that he disappears. So let's add delay of 0.35. So it is slightly longer than the animation in the timeline. And after this delay, we can set is playing Jumpscare to false. And now we can grab this monster mesh. We can first of all stop animation, as you can see. Target is a skeletal mesh component. This node will just stop its animation. And at the end, we can just destroy component. So we will just get rid of this mesh. It will no longer exist. So after he jumps our camera, he disappears. And there's also one thing that we need to change in this code for the drawer itself. So let's just move it here. So basically, before going to this timeline, we want to make sure that we are not jump scaring. So let's add a branch here and also here. We'll just get is jump scare playing, and we will go for not boolean. So if this is not playing, we can continue with the drawer opening animation. And after that, what we can also do is just grab our monster, check if it is valid, and we can just set its rotation so it's facing the player. So we will just do set world rotation, plug this to is valid, split the location, and we will just change the Z value. So let's get world location. From here we will find look at rotation, and the location for the target will be just the same thing as we did here. So we can copy this, but as I was testing, the better value in this scenario is 7. And let's just split it and plug the Z value to the Z input. So let's compile, save, and let's see if this is actually working. So let's go back to our abandoned house, which I lost right here. Let's just grab this drawer Jumpscare. You can see there is a spider inside. So I will grab location of this drawer and I will paste it right here. And same thing for the location. Let's just copy this, select our drawer Jumpscare, paste the rotation, and now we can just move it a little bit lower. And now let's test if this actually works. So let's just play from here. Turn on the flashlight. So this first drawer is our regular drawer, which works fine. But now when I will open this drawer, the monster should attack our player. So let's see if this works. As you can see, everything works fine, but I still think that this sound is definitely too loud. So let's just do volume multiplier 0.2. Yeah, a little bit better, but I still think it's too loud. So obviously you can tweak this value however you want. I just don't want this to be too loud. And you can see he's rotating to so he's facing the player, and then he's jumping on us, and this works great. Yeah. So now what we can do is we can just duplicate some of the drawers. So there is a full cabinet. I think I will leave this one as the imposter one, and you can position them however you want. I will just move them around a little bit and connect them maybe. Now I think they are a little bit too far apart. So let's just select all of them and move them a little bit higher. So yeah, I think this looks a little bit better now. So this is the imposter drawer. So what we can do is let's hide this drawer from the top. And we can just simply grab our key and just move it like here, just like that. And now if we will play from here, you can't see the key, but if we will open the drawer, the monster will attack us. We can see the key. We can move it even closer to the edge, I think. Let's just rotate it slightly. And let's make sure it's laying on the ground. Maybe we can move it a little bit closer to the center. So now when we press play, open the drawer, we can see a key right here, but we can't pick this key up because there is one little thing that we need to change, and that is our collision for the drawer. So what we need to do is find the drawer model. Let's go back to main 3D models, and here we have our cabinet drawer. If we will go here and collision, simple collision, you can see this is a collision for the drawer. We don't want this collision. We want to use the complex collision so that we can actually trace our key inside. So we can just go down to collision right here and just do, I use complex collision as simple. So I found a little mistake because in our interactable actors where we have our VP key, I forgot to add our interaction event, our interaction interface. So let's just add BPI interaction, and on interact we can do really basic play sound 2D. This sound will be key pickup, and let's just destroy actor, which will be itself. So now we can finally pick up the key. So if we will open drawer, spider will attack us, and now we can not pick up the key. So I think that this cabinet right here might be blocking the key. So we can just open this cabinet and make sure that this is also using complex collision as simple, and that should fix our problem. Let's play from here, wait for the jump scare. Yep, and now we can pick out the key. We have a sound effect and the key is picked up, and now we can unlock the doors. So everything is working perfectly fine.